On August 3rd, 2019, El Paso, Texas, was changed forever. A gunman opened fire at a Walmart near Cielo Vista Mall, killing 23 people and injuring 22 more in one of the deadliest attacks targeting Hispanic and Latino people in modern U.S. history. This is the story of the people, the city, and the long road to justice that followed. El Paso is a binational, bilingual community intertwined with neighboring Ciudad Juarez, where weekend errands often cross borders and languages. On a busy back-to-school Saturday in August 2019, hundreds of shoppers filled a Walmart on the city's east side. Within minutes, lives were shattered, and a community began a years-long journey of healing and remembrance. The gunman was Patrick Crusius, born in 1998 and raised in North Texas. He had several mental disorders that resulted in him attending special education classes growing up, though he later transitioned into mainstream classes. He graduated from Plano Senior High School in 2017 and later attended Collin College. Former classmates described him as socially isolated, bullied, and someone who rarely spoke to others beyond the bare minimum. Sometime between June and July 2019, he purchased a Romanian-made GPWSR 10 AK-47 style semi-automatic rifle. Weeks before the attack, his mother called police to ask about the legality and safety of the firearm he had obtained. She was told he was legally allowed to possess it. Authorities and later court records tied his motive to racist, anti-immigrant beliefs. He began writing his manifesto, titled The Inconvenient Truth, expressing support for the Christchurch shooter and his motivations. Crusius claimed the attack was a response to what he perceived as a Hispanic invasion of Texas and a broader effort to prevent cultural and ethnic replacement in America. He argued that political corruption, corporate influence, and immigration policies threatened American sovereignty, the environment, and economic stability. He criticized both major political parties for supporting immigration and warned that automation would further harm American workers. He advocated for drastic measures, including racial segregation and justified violence as a means of preservation. The manifesto promoted racial and cultural identity preservation, framed conflict as inevitable, and dismissed any opposition as hypocritical or complicit in America's decline. Crusius portrayed his actions as an act of preservation rather than hate and emphasized that his ideology predated contemporary political figures. He practiced shooting his WSR-10 about 3 times before the attack at Garland Public Shooting Range. He also purchased 1,000 hollow point 7.62 by 39 rounds in bulk from Russia. Around midnight on August 3rd, 2019, Crusius could not sleep and decided to drive to El Paso because it was far from his family home and had a large Hispanic population. He placed his WSR-10 and its magazines in the trunk of his black 2012 Honda Civic and brought heat-resistant gloves and ear protection. He planned to die in the attack or be shot by law enforcement. During the drive, he stopped twice at gas stations for energy drinks and fuel. He arrived in El Paso at 8 a.m. Having not eaten for 12 hours, he attempted to visit an Italian restaurant, but it was closed. He then drove around the city before arriving at the Walmart Supercenter at Cielo Vista Mall. He parked and wore a plain black t-shirt, beige or light khaki cargo pants, black and white Nike shoes, and his prescription glasses. He entered the Walmart at 8:58 a.m., walking through aisles for several minutes. Near some microwaves, at 9:13 a.m., an elderly woman approached him and asked if he could reach an item on the top shelf. At 6 feet tall, he easily retrieved it for her. He continued walking before leaving at 9:27 a.m. and returning to his car. While sitting there, he browsed 4chan and 8chan. He later re-entered the store to buy a pack of oranges, ate a few near the entrance, and returned to his vehicle. At 10:15 a.m., he attempted to post his manifesto, but his signal was too weak, so he drove closer to the store. In doing so, he accidentally uploaded a college disciplinary form from an incident when he had shown up drunk to class. He quickly deleted it and reposted the correct document at 10:17 a.m. While he was on his laptop, A girls' soccer team arrived for a fundraiser. Crusius then returned to his parking spot and, at 10:37 a.m., exited his vehicle. He opened the trunk, put on ear protection, attached a waist-mounted magazine carrier with a shoulder support strap, and loaded several magazines into his pockets and pouch. At 10:38 a.m., he closed the trunk, turned around, and opened fire at the fundraiser group and others near the front entrance. He first shot and killed Jorge Calvillo Garcia, hitting him twice. He then shot Jorge's son, the team's coach, multiple times, injuring him. Next, he shot the second coach, Guillermo Memo Garcia, multiple times. Garcia died several months later. Crusius then shot Garcia's wife, Jessica Coca Garcia, 3 times in the leg, wounding her. A woman, Maria Eugenia Legareta Roth, attempted to flee from behind her shopping cart and was struck multiple times and killed. Crusius then shot Michelle Grady 3 times, in the hand, hip, and leg, injuring her. He continued firing and injured 2 more people. When he ran out of ammunition, he crouched behind a parked truck to reload. He then fired 6 more rounds, injuring another person, before running toward the market and pharmacy entrance and entering the store approximately 63 seconds after the first shot. Inside, Alexander Gerhard Hoffman attempted to flee, but Crusius shot him in the back of the head, killing him instantly. Crusius turned a corner toward the checkout lanes, aimed at a man, and fired twice, killing him. He then entered the first convenience bank located inside the Walmart. He saw a man hiding behind a pillar, walked up to him, and shot him point blank in the head, killing him. He opened fire on people hiding in the bank's lobby, firing 20 rounds, killing 8 more individuals and injuring 5. Among the wounded in the bank were Octavio Lizard, who was shot in the leg, Mario de Alba, who was shot in the back, Erica de Alba Mariscal, shot in the leg, and Olivia Mariscal Rodriguez, shot in the chest. All of them survived. Crusius then left the bank, reloaded, and walked to the checkout lanes next to the bank, where he opened fire on people running and hiding, killing 8 more individuals and injuring 10 others with 30 rounds. Among those injured near the checkout lanes were Rosa Barron and Rosemary Vega. He reloaded again and sprinted toward the east exit. As he approached the doors, he saw an SUV driving slowly in front of them. He stood in the doorway and fired twice through the driver's window, killing the driver, Juan Velasquez, and injuring his wife. By this point, Crusius had fired 92 rounds. He then sprinted to his car, got inside, removed his ear protection and magazine pouch, threw the rifle into the back seat, and drove away at 10:42 a.m. In approximately 3 minutes, he had shot and killed 23 people and injured 22 others. First responders arrived within 6 minutes of the initial 911 call. The El Paso Police Department, Texas Rangers, paramedics, FBI, and ATF responded to the scene. After the shooting, Crusius drove to the intersection of Sunmount and Viscount. He stopped in the left turn lane, exited his vehicle with his hands raised, and identified himself as the shooter to Texas Rangers and an El Paso motorcycle officer at 11:06 a.m. He was arrested and transported to police headquarters. The arrest warrant affidavit states that Crusius waived his Miranda rights, confessed that he was the shooter, and admitted that he targeted Mexicans during the attack. On February 6, 2020, Crusius was charged with 90 federal offenses, 22 counts of committing a hate crime resulting in death, 22 counts of use of a firearm to commit murder, 23 counts of a hate crime involving an attempt to kill, and 23 counts of use of a firearm during crime. Crusius waived his federal bond hearing on February 12, 2020, during his first federal court appearance. On July 23, 2020, he entered a plea of not guilty to the federal charges and waived arraignment. In July 2020, the federal court granted a defense motion for more time to investigate a number of red flag mitigation themes as prosecutors considered whether to seek the death penalty. The defense argued that Crusius had severe lifelong neurological and mental disabilities, was treated with antipsychotic medication after arrest, and was in a psychotic state when detained. The trial was delayed due to the COVID-19 pandemic and a massive amount of evidence. At a February 2022 hearing, the defense requested a trial start date of March 2025 or later, while prosecutors asked for June 2023. Defense attorneys said they needed more time to review 1.76 million files and 763 gigabytes of video, and indicated they might pursue an insanity defense. In January 2023, federal prosecutors declined to seek the death penalty. On February 8, 2023, Crusius pleaded guilty to all 90 federal murder and hate crime charges. When asked before sentencing if he felt remorse, he nodded. On July 7, 2023, he was sentenced to 90 consecutive life terms. Crusius was indicted on capital murder charges by a Texas grand jury on September 12, 2019. He pleaded not guilty at his arraignment on October 10, 2019. Mark Stevens, a San Antonio criminal defense attorney, and Joe Spencer were appointed to represent him. On April 28, 2020, prosecutors announced they would seek an additional capital murder charge following the death of the 23rd victim, who had spent 9 months in the hospital. State proceedings were delayed due to the COVID-19 pandemic and a large volume of evidence. El Paso District Attorney Bill Hicks initially stated he would pursue the death penalty. In 2025, his successor, District Attorney James Montoya, announced he would no longer seek capital punishment. Crusius pleaded guilty to the state charges on April 21, 2025, and was sentenced to life in prison without parole. He is currently incarcerated at the Lewis C. Powell Unit in Palestine, Texas.